Hey man, what's going on? Oh, I just don't know where to go now. What do you mean? Well, I finished Blood without taking damage. I'm not sure where to go next. You could move on to Cryptic Passage. Yeah, but it's kind of more of the same, you know? I mean, Cryptic Passage has some good levels and its own host of glitches, but the whole no damage thing's getting a bit stale, you know? What? I can't understand you. You might have to take that thing off. Oh, I said, hey, you could do Fear. Sure, it's one of my favorite games, and it's made by Monolith, which connects it to Blood, but people have already done no damage runs of Fear. I want to do something that's never been done before. What about other build engine games? Duke 3D, Shadow Warrior? I've never really been into those two. I think it's mainly the theming. How about Doom? It's a classic. Yeah, but Doom's way too simple. You can't even look up and down. So I assume you wouldn't want to do Doom 2 either. Yeah, no. Plutonia? Maybe. How about Quake? I mean, yeah, Quake is more complex than Doom, but it's still pretty simple. You don't even have a use key. Half-Life? That one is actually impossible. They've gotten it down to one single damage inside this freezer room. Daikatana. Where did you even get that? Redneck Rampage. Get out of my sight. Blood 2? You know what? I don't have to deal with this. Oh, come on. Let that guy in. Fine, I'll do it.
I need a key.
Alright, so, it's finally time. Blood Pacifist. Well, Pacifist. I'm using air quotes. Unlike no damage, which is pretty self-explanatory, I'm going to lay out some ground rules for Pacifist here. Rule 1. No directly killing enemies. Indirect kills only. Closing them in a door or pushing them off a cliff or infighting is alright. I'm going to say explosions caused by me also count as kills as well and should be avoided. Rule number 2. Bosses. Killing a boss is the only way to end the episode, so unfortunately I will have to kill all the bosses normally. Rule 3. I can die and pitchfork start a level to get health back. Honestly, this caused way more problems than it solved, because many obstacles require power-ups from previous levels. And finally, rule number 4. I can play through levels normally to get back to levels. I'll go more into detail on this later, because I had to do it a lot. But like I said, some power-ups are required for later levels, and I don't want to pacifist through all the previous levels again, so I play normally until the point I can pitchfork start and continue pacifist. That way I don't get an unfair advantage by playing through the levels normally. And of course I'm playing on the easiest difficulty. If there are any mad lads out there who want to try this on Extra Crispy, go for it. This is hard enough for me. Alright, that's enough preamble. Let's get into it. Cradle to grave.
I live again.
And almost immediately we run into a roadblock. The first key can be skipped pretty easily by jumping up here and going through the window. But you need the dagger key to finish the level, and it's dropped by this cultist. So we need to somehow kill this cultist. How are we going to do that? Infighting. Blood does indeed have monster infighting. I actually didn't know this because you either kill the enemies or die before you see it happen. Cultists can damage each other, of course, but that doesn't cause them to fight each other. But if a cultist shoots a zombie, the zombie goes after them and most of the time kills the cultist. Now I thought when I started this run that enemies dropping keys would be the major roadblock, to the point where I mapped out where all the keys were. But that turned out not to be the case. The enemies can handle killing one of their own just fine. Wrong side of the tracks. You need to blow up this train car to progress, but the zombie's standing too close and, well, Wait, never mind, he's fine. Then we run to the first roadblock of this level. This cultist in the ticket booth drops the moon key. Luring out the cultist couldn't get the job done. So I amassed a zombie army. And these cultists here are somehow more capable than all the others combined and took out all of the zombies. Multiple times. But eventually my undead army prevailed. Then I went and got the invisibility cloak secret in the kitchen. Probably didn't need it, and getting it honestly caused more issues than it solved. Then we hit the second roadblock, and this one seemed impassable. So you go into this room, and once you grab the fire key, the door behind you closes. Then the walls open, revealing 4 zombies. The door won't open again until those zombies are killed. So what now? I tried strafing out of the room before the door closes. Then I realized if you ran into this Tommy gunner in the hallway, you could get him to walk into the room. But it didn't make any difference. So I tried getting the zombies to infight, but they can't hit each other. This is where I learned that jumping on an enemy's head causes damage and can even kill them, which is crazy. And that's where I thought this run would end. I gave up on it for a few months. Then I decided to consult the speedrun. The speedrun completely skips all the keys and just uses TNT to jump over the final gate. That has 2 problems. Problem 1, these cultists are in the splash zone. The TNT jump kills them, so I have to lure them out of the way. And problem 2, I suck at this game. But after many tries, I did it. And I forgot to save and fell off the train, so I had to do it all over again. Let's skip over that part.
Looks like my train's gonna...
Phantom Express. Pretty easy. Nothing crazy here. The cargo car can be a bit difficult due to enemies blocking your way and the Tommy gunners in the engine can hurt a bit, but other than that, nothing really to say.
End of the line.
Dark Carnival. Oh boy, this was another one I was worried about. The dagger key requires walking a tightrope with all these guys shooting at you.
Whoa!
And the moon key is dropped by this gargoyle, and there's nothing else in the arena to kill him. Luckily, we don't have to worry about any of that. If you strafe into the moon key door here at just the right angle... Yeah, that happens. I think you clip into the door frame. I'm not really sure how this one works. I lured the cultists into the water, then jumped across the pillars here. Yeah, I'm doing the secret levels too. No speedrun to help me here. Luckily, I don't need it on this one. House of Horrors. Just run through it. Yeah, really. This part that locks you in? There's a switch on the wall here. No need to kill the cultists. Probably the easiest level you have to actually play through. I mean, you skip all of Dark Carnival, it doesn't really count. But that's all about to change with... Hallowed Grounds. Oh boy, Hallowed Grounds. You may notice there are only 2 regular levels left, but the video is only about halfway through. This wasn't just beating a video game level, this was a journey. And I'm going to take you along for the ride with me. This level has a major roadblock pretty early on. The Skull Key. Like E1M2, this key locks you in a room full of zombies. Unfortunately, the speedrun guide I was watching by Moody went through this room normally, but he mentioned something while he's doing it.
There is a bar clip that I'm just going to leave a link to in the description. I'm not going to show it in this tutorial because it's just over the top and it's IL material basically.
So I decided to look into that, and I found this video by the build engine Giga Chad himself, King Mamba. This guy is insane. He did a single segment, extra crispy, no damage run on every episode. And the trick is, well... Alright, so apparently, when you jump on an enemy's head, it gives you a small speed boost. And if you're strafing and get the speed boost, it's just barely enough to clip through the bars here. Yeah, like I said, insane. So I got the zombie to kill the cultist and gave it a try. Quite a while. getting nowhere. Actually, the zombie kept dying from me jumping on his head. So I messaged King Mamba asking if there was a specific trick to getting it. And he sent me a video by another speedrunner, WR. This showed a newer, more consistent setup using TNT. So I restarted the level and got the health pack secret at the beginning so I would have enough health for this. And this time, after the cultist killed the zombie, I lured him back into the elevator to get rid of him. And then I proceeded to blow myself up. A lot. A lot. And I kept dying and getting nowhere, so I messaged WR and asked if there was a trick to get this more consistently. And he sent me an even newer, even more consistent setup using the jump boots. Unfortunately, I'd pitchfork started the level to get the med pack, so I didn't have the jump boots. And right now, I have to admit to everyone, I cheated. I used the Mario cheat to go back to the carnival and get the jump boots. Then proceeded to bang my head into a wall for an hour. You may have seen that teaser video I posted. Yeah, that's just this. At some point I rebound crouch to the Q key because the way this trick works is you line up with this specific pixel. Then with the jump boots activated, you strafe against the wall. Then right after your cursor passes the second gold thing here, you have to jump and crouch, and sometimes you get stuck in between the wall and the bars here. And if you're in this position and you wiggle around just right, you can slip through.
I need a key.
And I forgot to grab the spider key. Of course, I forgot to grab the spider key! Well, back to the carnival. And I did it again. Didn't take as long this time. And I cheated. Yeah, so at the time I didn't really care about that because I just spent 2 hours on this single level. But then I got another message from WR. Oh boy. The Great Temple. You may wonder why I need to skip this level. Well, just like the last level, you get locked in a room full of zombies, and the door only opens after they're all killed. Okay, so while I was capturing B-roll for this video, I found out this room is actually possible. The reflective shots power-up can kill enough zombies to open the door. Although weirdly, if you don't kill any of the zombies, the door you came in opens, but the way out doesn't, and you're soft-locked. Even when you kill all the zombies, it doesn't open. Sometimes. The magic of build engine jank, everyone. While this room is possible, I still don't like this level, so skipping it is preferable. So I watched the speedrun guide. Step 1. Jump across this huge gap with a bunch of Tommy gunners. And I completely used up the jump boots doing the last trick. Oh well, let's at least see what happens next. Step 2. TNT jump up to this ledge. Seems like these Tommy gunners would get caught in the splash zone, but I didn't kill them when I did it, so I guess they were just far enough away. Step 3. Throw out all these zombies, because you need to line up a very precise angle. Luckily, WR had me covered again here. Saving and then reloading makes zombies out of your line of sight forget you. And step 4. Blast yourself over this massive gap to the secret platform using TNT. Oh god, this looks terrible. And you just jump up, get the key, and blast yourself back. Easy. At this point I realized I would need the jump boots. Instead of going back to the carnival, I decided to restart the episode and play through the first 3 levels normally.
I live again.
Then when I got to the carnival, I killed myself and pitchfork started, so I wouldn't have any unfair advantage by beating those previous levels normally. And I did it again. This time the bar clip only took 5 minutes of attempts. I might be getting better at this. Just getting to the setup of this trick was difficult. Like with the previous trick in the crouching, I bound a use item to Q, that way I could turn the jump boots off and on quickly to make them last as long as possible. I found that instead of jumping across the bridge, going through the water here had you take less damage. I think the enemies didn't see you as long. But it didn't get any easier past that point. The way forward was completely full of enemies. Luckily the TNT jump upward was fairly easy. I just lured the zombies over here, ran back, saved, then loaded. And boom! Peace and quiet at last. The setup here is backing up in the window until the black spot here is touching the window frame. Then you crouch and aim down here. Throw a bundle of TNT, and right as you click, uncrouch. Okay, that might be an issue. I barely have any armor, and 44 health is not enough to survive this blast. But I do know where there's a super armor. On the last car of the train. So I restarted the episode again. This time playing the first 2 levels normally, and jumping off the train to pitchfork start there. And this 4th time around, it only took me 2 minutes to get the bar clip. Also, the cultist that I normally kill went up the elevator by himself, so how's that for Pacifist? Going into M6, I have 82 health, a full medkit, and nearly full armor. Let's do this. Jump across here, blast up here, lure the zombies, save and load, line it up, and blow myself up. Over, and over, and over, and over. I watched another video about this skip, and it doesn't have you turn around after blasting off. And I think that's what was messing me up, because shortly after that, I couldn't believe I actually managed to do this. I was so close. Jumping up and grabbing the moon key opens these alcoves. The middle one has a super armor. I probably don't need it, but it's better to be safe than sorry. The only thing separating me from a full pacifist run of this episode is blasting myself back into the window up there. And this was actually way easier than the first one. I didn't even use a setup or anything, I just aimed at the corner here and then boom! The rest of this was easy. Just run to the door here and into the final arena. Which is very easy. Run around the zombies, hit the switch, get the secret invincibility, and finish the level. Now the boss. Nothing interesting here, so I just want to say a couple of things. First of all, massive thank you to King Mamba and Dashwektus. I could not have done this without them. Also, I think it's weird that this is possible, right? Like, obviously this isn't intended play. By anyone, not even speedrunners who came up with these tricks. But the speedrunning skips line up just right to make it possible. And I have to say, I thought I was going to give up. About an hour into jumping against the set of bars, I was considering using no clip and saying, it's theoretically possible, but I couldn't do it. But I stuck with it, and I'm glad I did. It's weird to think that I'm probably the first person to ever do this.
Sleep, Ophelia.
Well, on to episode 2 next. I'm sure this one will be easy with no insane speedrunning skips whatsoever, right? Oh boy, can't wait.